Sup, it's me. I think it's safe to say that we all by now have played or at least seen something regarding this very specific gacha game. Musume Pretty Derby, the viral horse girl racing simulator that outperformed your favorite AAA title and practically every major gacha game in the industry. Okay, that was a lie, I just lied to you for the sake of the video, female gooners are still too strong. Anyways, if you somehow have been living under a horse, Musume is a cross-media franchise who have taken real Japanese racehorses and turned them into cute anime girls. These girls then run on a track just like their real-life counterparts for the fame and glory of the fans. But going back to the roots of this massive multimedia project, we have to acknowledge that the game, despite its massive success, had countless delays, internal problems and licensing issues in its early stages. The initial plan was to release the game together with the first season of the anime by the same name, but with the delays, Studio PA Works was now forced to release the first season before the game was even finished. It was done with the hope that it wouldn't be much longer until the game was polished enough for publication and work as an early advertisement for the future massive hit. Yeah, take 4 years and a little, Bomb Squad, get to work. Season 1 ended up being plagued by scheduling conflicts, tight deadlines and all sorts of production issues, which made it stand apart from every other piece of animated content that would come after. Yet, despite all this, it's still a full season, 13 episodes of a solid introduction to the universe of the anthropomorphic troglodytes we grew to love so much today. So, why does it feel so lacking? What made it so underwhelming that it's not even in the conversation when talking about the amazing adaptation of Musume? What made it fall short? To get a better grip of what made the first season feel so shallow, we need to go all the way back to episode 1, Gate of Dreams. Come on. No, stop, don't act up now. We rehearsed this for 5 hours yesterday. You not gonna do it? Come here. Sorry, this is special week. A horse girl born and bred outside any legal documentation and our main character for the season. She has moved to Tokyo to attend the highly prestigious Treisen Academy, a school for the absolute cream of the crop, the creme de la creme of horse girls all around Japan. Here you will find not only prodigies, but legendary runners throughout Japanese horse racing history. Symboli Rudolph, the student council president and the only 7-crown winner in history. And her slightly autistic daughter Tokaiteo. Marusensky, the undefeated supercar, Oguri Cap, a fat ass, and many more. Oh yeah, all these horses who are walking around together ran in totally different eras, by the way. Don't know how they are still in school, super seniors is an understatement, but here is where Pretty Derby will meet her friends/rivals. Is that Rey Mysterio? The first season stands as a good but slightly slow-paced introduction to the wide universe of Musume. You have to remember that this was the first official content that was released, so it needed to establish a strong foundation for the silly horse girls, especially if the game's delays were to be swept under the rug to some degree. And sadly, it did not. Season 1 lacked a lot of the charm that made us come back each week for Cinderella Grey or rewatching Beginning of a New Era for the 5th time. The quirky nature of the Umas that makes them feel so alive don't really exist yet, or rather aren't as established, almost like we are still uncertain of how individual characters should develop in the future. Even with a character like Goldship, who is supposed to be the loudest and most out there personality, is held back in a weird way, at least compared to later seasons where she has a significantly smaller amount of screen time. Everyone, including the main cast, feel much more two-dimensional, not only in their animation, Jesus Christ, what happened to you? But also the way they act and present themselves. You don't find yourself cheering for any specific girl until the last 5 minutes of a race, when both the music and voice acting makes up for what the character and animation lacks. It's a clean slate, just like their in-game counterpart, almost relying on the action of someone else to form their path. Unfortunately, the most fulfilling character in Season 1 is Trainer. Government name, by the way, and I say unfortunately because this man committed sexual assault a good 5 minutes into the first episode, not once, but twice. Then sent out a hit squad to kidnap the poor girl when she didn't want to join his questionable operation. Welcome to Team Spica. Yeah, we ain't winning shit, are we? In short, he's a character who doesn't need to rely on animation to feel alive because, well, he's just a guy, and therefore automatically feels much less robotic and stiff than any other of the horse girls whose identities are dependent on their behavior when they run. And it seems like there isn't much identity going on right now. Characters acting stiff and feeling empty is still something you can get around if the story where said characters exist within is good enough. Let's talk about that. Special Week is just not a good main character. For a season meant to introduce a whole new exciting and interesting world, the focus almost exclusively lands on 2 people. Not a problem if these 2 characters involve the rest of the cast in a meaningful way, like we will see in the coming seasons, but strictly isolating 2 just feels so uninspiring. I mean, yes, Special Week and Silent Suzuka are 2 driving factors for the story in many ways. We get to follow this new Uma with tons of potential and one who's already reached that peak. Silent Suzuka will be the motivating and driving factor for Special Week and an important part in her life, just as she will be one in Suzuka's. Alongside Team Spica, she searches for the answer to the promise she made to her late mother, to become the best horse girl in Japan. Special Week is a hard-working, pure country girl being driven by the mix of promises from friends and family. She wears her heart on her sleeve and despite countless setbacks, refuses to give up. Inside her chest beats a heart of pure gold, looking out for all her close friends and always wants to give them 100% support, even when she doesn't have 100% to give. Obsession. Special Week develops an unhealthy obsession with Suzuka, to the point where her own life gets taken over by someone else. She is a vessel that is only meant to support her idol, cheer her on the loudest when she wins and cry the hardest when she loses. The promise to become the best horse girl in Japan slowly disappeared into the back of her mind and got replaced by the promise of Suzuka.
ライバルとして、決着をつけましょう。はい、約束です。まだまだ。
Injuries. Every athlete's worst nightmare, not for the damage itself, but for the possibility of never being able to compete again. Losing a part of your identity to the point where your absence leaves not only yourself lost, but everyone who supported you along the way. This was it. Special Week fully stopped caring about her own career and herself as a person. Every race was weighed down by overbearing worry and somewhere beneath it, a lingering sense of guilt. Did I push her that far? Was my persistence forcing her to overwork herself? After all she's done for me, I couldn't beat her once. The reason she will never run again is me. The person she idolized more than anything had now become the reason for her own downfall. Look, Season 1 is not bad. It's just not great. I think a lot of people have a hard time to point out why the first season felt so lacking, but when you put everything together, there is just a very mediocre show left. Especially when getting put side by side with the other titles, it just doesn't compare. The exploration of deep emotional and psychological problems, main characters who build on each other with so much individualism and charm. It's not only the animation and pacing that is improved, but the writing itself. I think it's easy to project and blame PA Works for the quality, as it would get taken over by different studios later, but looking at their previous works, they are more than capable when it comes to producing a good anime. So whose fault is it? If I had to take a wild guess, I would put my vote